back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Awino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, before I talk about what I want to talk about, I just want to remind you that if you are meeting for the first time, please don't forget to take a minute, click the subscribe button. You can also like, share, and drop me a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think and where you're watching these videos from. And for those who have been joining, for those who have been giving me your support, I really appreciate your support. People like Okelo, people like Billion, I really appreciate. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Asante sana. And if at all maybe you want to join this family, the only way you can join this family of Havana Media is by clicking the subscribe button, and you can also like, so that any moment there is a video that have been uploaded, it will be very easy for you to get it via the notification. Now, jumping back to our discussion, I've seen something that is going viral. A lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of Kenyans are really celebrating the issue of Adani. And there are some of even the Kenyan politicians that are being named or are being mentioned when anytime Adani is mentioned somewhere, they're being tagged. Number one, we have got William Samoei Ruto, the president. Number two, we have got Raila Amolo Odinga, that is the opposition. I don't know whether we can call him the opposition leader or the expected incoming chairman of African Union. The third one is CS John Mbadi, and the fourth one is CS David Chirchir. Those four politicians have been mentioned, or it's being said that they've been supporting the Adani issue. Like, they are the ones that have been encouraging that, saying that Adani is not a bad thing. You know, Kenyans are going to get a lot of things from Adani. Kenyans are going to benefit from Adani, which is not right. Because, okay, tell me why Kenyan politicians would say that Adani is right and then is going to be rejected in America.
In the transmission line, their money, 95 billion. We would have otherwise gone to borrow that money, burden the people of Kenya. This is now a private sector investment, the same way Keshan here is a private sector investment, the same way Sosian is a private sector investment. We will pay for that transmission line using a wheeling charge that has been negotiated. And it is important for us as a nation to appreciate that a partnership between public and the private sector gives us a win-win outcome.
We all have misgivings about how the current proposed PPPs concerning the AKA and power distribution have been processed, which has resulted in a raging debate over the involvement of the Indian firm in the airport and energy sector projects. Unfortunately, these misgivings have also resulted in a lot of misinformation regarding the investors who have made the PPP's proposals. I have had a chance to interact with the PPP proposals in question. It is my duty to state what I know about them. When I was the Prime Minister of Kenya, I was introduced to the company and its activities by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while he was then the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat. Indeed, Prime Minister Modi organized for a Kenya government mission to visit Gujarat, and I had the opportunity to visit this company's infrastructure projects in that state that included a port, a power plant, a railway line, and an airstrip developed out of what was a swamp donated by the government of India. I'm talking about Adani group of companies.
And I said this thing here, that once Donald Trump is once Donald Trump is elected the president, then a lot of things are going to change, not only in America but in Africa, in the world mostly, because there's some of the things that Donald Trump don't give a shit. Donald Trump doesn't care about a lot of things. Like now, for instance, this issue of Adani. Now, I want to break it this way. First of all, I want to talk about why Adani has been rejected in America, and then I come to Kenya, talk about why it is rejected in Kenya and the consequences. The reasons why Adani is rejected in America is this. One of the things that Adani deals with the environmental issue, environmental things like they pollute the environment, the issue of coal and all that. So America Americans, Americans environmental activists and lawmakers see Adani as a symbol of climate destruction. Why? Because Adani's massive chemical coal projects in Australia, which is linked to global carbon emission. Many in the US argue that supporting such project undermines global climate. So that is it. Many in the US are saying that supporting such project is going to undermine global climate. Where? And then you come to tell us here that Adani is one of the best projects, that we should support it, something like that. But in as much as some of them are, in as much as they're talking about environmental factor, some are also talking about it, are also looking at it this way, like how is it going to affect them financially? Now, there is also another concern, another American's concern about the Adani. Mostly the financially. Now, the financial concerns of Adani in America is this. So Adani has faced accusations of using questionable business practices and opaque funding structures. That is in America, which has led to fears of economic risk tied to projects it leads, including those that might involve American investment partners. So that is now where we are heading to. That is where now why Americans is rejecting the issue of Adani. In short, for many in the US, Adani is represented as a clash between economic ambition and environmental responsibility. Now, especially now that Donald Trump has been named or has been elected as the president of America. That is now how the Americans are seeing Adani. Now, Americans are seeing Adani as a distraction, as a destroyer, a distractor, and someone that is going to affect them even financially, because we know very well that every country depends on itself financially. It is only in Kenya that now we hear that our president is going to borrow something like 9.980 something billion trillion Kenya shillings in foreign countries to come and do projects in Kenya. Now, that after talking about that in America, I now want us to look at it at the effect of Adani in Kenya and why Kenyans have been against the Adani issue in Kenya from the word go. Because it is in Kenya that Adani has been named, and Adani has been stirring anger for different reasons. Recently, leaders like President William Ruto, just like I've told you, William Ruto, John Mbadi, Raila Odinga, and David Chirchir have received a lot of criticism for showing support for Adani-linked deals. That is why they've been showing a lot of support for Adani-linked deals. But there are three main reasons. I want to talk about this. There are three main reasons why Kenyans are so bitter with Adani. Reason number one. We know very well that Adani is land grab. Adani comes like a land grabbers, and it is going to cause land and livelihood issues. That is one of the things. It's promoting land. It's going to promote land and livelihood issues, whereby Adani's projects in Africa often involve acquiring large tracts of land, which can displace local communities. So when Adani, when we know very well that when a land is taken from somewhere, when a land is grabbed, for the land grabbers, we saw what happened to Woodley. I went there and I witnessed, guys. It was very much painful. People, the houses are being destroyed. People are stealing things. People are taken away. People are being chased away, and then the houses are being destroyed. So the land grabbers, when a land is grabbed, is going to cause livelihood, because these people that have been displaced, they don't know where they're going. So when you say that Adani is one of the best companies that is supposed to come and take control of Kenya, we have to understand that Kenyans are going to be sent away. They will not have anywhere they can settle in. So that is one of the tactic of land grabbing is one of the ways that is going to cause a lot of displace of local communities. And that is why these people have been against this issue of Adani from the word go. Because many fear that if this happens in Kenya, then it is going to lead to loss of homes, farms, and the traditional ways of life. That is number one. Point number two, that is making Kenyans furious and making Kenyans like they don't want to listen to the issue of Adani anymore is the issue of environmental concern. I've just told you that in the United States, they're against Adani because of the environmental effect. Now, coming to Kenya, Adani's projects are linked to environmental degradation, whereby when they ban the coals and all that. Now, Kenya's environmentalist worries about the long-term impact on ecosystem and wildlife. So I want us to take a look at this. Like, let's say, for instance, Adani takes over Kenya. And then they start banning things, they start doing things that they normally do. How is it's going to affect, environmentally, this thing is going to make even our animals, going to make even a lot of things, a lot of things will not work. So talking about environmental concern, just like I've said about US, the US do not want Adani simply because of environmental effect. Now, it is also the same thing that is happening in Kenya, and even the Kenyan environmentalists are worried that in this thing in the long term is going to have an impact on ecosystem and wildlife. Now, the third and the last thing is about political hypocrisy. Now, here is the thing. Leaders like Raila Odinga, William Ruto, John Mbadi, Chirchir, who are often at odds politically, appearing to united to supporting this Adani issue. But many Kenyans feel betrayed, questioning why their leaders are backing foreign interests over local welfare. For average Kenyans, in fact, for average Kenyans, this feels like a sellout. Now, Raila supported this thing, and when Raila was trying to say that he knows Adani, it raised a lot of concern that why is it that Raila Odinga is supporting this? Is this not a way of sellout? Are we not being sold as Kenyans? Like, why are our politicians supporting the issue of Adani? Why are our politicians supporting the issue of Adani? So my biggest question is, as I wind up this issue of Adani, my biggest question is this: where does this leave us as Kenyans? Now, I don't want to talk about it as if I don't want to look at it in American's way. Now, I'm asking this question in like a Kenyan. Like, now, where does this issue, the whole of this story of this scenario leaves us? Because in America, the debate over Adani reflects larger tensions about the global fights against climate change. Meanwhile, in our country, Kenya, it's a story of mistrust. Because our leaders prioritize profit over people. So I really don't know why our leaders are trying to sell us out to America. I really don't understand. But I would like also to give you time at the comment section so that you can also tell me what you think concerning this issue. But don't forget, please, if you are meeting for the first time, don't forget to take a minute, click the subscribe button. You can also like, share, and drop me a comment and tell me what you think and where you're watching this video from. And until we meet again in the next video, if it is possible, I have been your host, Boniface Awino. Bye-bye.